there to here. And today we are so honored to have Galit Ventura Rozen, who's a professional speaker, and she's been in business for a long time, and she's also a publisher, and she's been a coach, a trainer, a consultant, a broker, you name it, she got it on her title. But she's here to share with us about what can you thrive in 2021 as a business person, as a female business owner. So Galit, welcome, and I hope that you can introduce a
So
little bit of your
first of
background.
all, ladies, wow. I mean, I'm just like in awe. I knew a little bit about your stories, but I didn't know. And I'm completely in awe by both of you. So thank you for
Oh,
sharing your stories. And thank you for being out there and inspiring others, because that's what we need as women. We need,
yes. I think so. I think
yeah.
that, you know what? There's so many people like you inspiring us. So it gave us a little bit of courage that we want to be out there, inspire people. We are a little bit ahead of people who are still sitting in the fearful space and in the dark, and they're afraid. So, I mean, listening to your story and give us the courage to tell our story. So, yeah, why don't you tell us, how do you get from there to here, and how do we gonna position ourselves from here forward?
Absolutely. So look, it's December.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop focusing on 2020 and let's start focusing on 2021.
I'm
I
up
Yeah.
for
just
that.
got done telling Lee and Sarah that my phone has not stopped. The amount of people that are reaching out because they're so excited to hire a coach or join one of my programs, because they know they've got to start 2021 with a bank. We might as well come out, get this 21. Sarah wants to share a little bit about myself, which will be just real short. But more than anything, I want to share with everybody tips today that can start you ahead of the game for 2021. And now's the time to start setting those goals, because the holidays typically slow down for us.
Mm-hmm.
Business gets a little bit quieter, the phones get a little bit quieter, people are focused on family and holidays. Let's spend that extra time, instead of in front of Netflix, let's spend it planning our future so we can have a great future. And so, first of all, I just wanted to share a little bit with everybody, because I know it's a lot of new listeners. My name is Galit Ventura Rozen, just like Lee and Sarah said. I've owned my own business for over 25 years. My first baby is a commercial real estate company. 4 years ago, I decided it was time to show women how to be successful, because I've been so blessed in my hard work and my dedication to have success in my field. And in that, what has become is I'm doing a lot of sales success coaching for businesses, because what's the first thing people want to know? How do I get more clients? How do I make more money? So I have a lot of experience in that with my businesses. And I also am teaching people, which I know Lee and Sarah want me to talk about, how to be more visible and how to get more clients. So we'll talk a little bit about those things there. But as anybody, I've had my trials, my tribulations, and my failures. I've had my own challenges, just like probably anyone listening. And I have learned what helps me succeed, because at the end of the day, it's really easy when life is going well. It's when the challenges show up that you really get tested. Right, ladies?
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Totally
where the
agree.
testing was. That's where the road meet the rub, the whatever, the rubber meet the road.
Yes, yes. So the true test is when life's going great and we're doing great, we don't have as much to worry about. The true test is getting past the challenges, getting back up. Really, the key is getting back up. And what I share a lot of times is it's not about falling down. It's about how each time you learn how to get up just a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And that you don't allow those things that I always compare it to the back of the closet crying in fetal position, because that was my experiences, where you just feel like life is over and it's not going to get better. And now you look back, I'm sure you ladies can, with your experiences, which are nothing like mine, way more, that you can look back now and say, oh, I'm so thankful that I stuck it out, that I did what I needed to, that I got where I am today, because it sounds like you both have some great lives.
Yeah, I think it's either sink or swim. So, you get a choice, right? And we don't swim, we're done. So that's not much of a choice. But sometimes when you're in the comfortable zone that you don't really have to swim, you can float. And do you want to swim so you can get there faster? You're just kind of floating around and go nowhere. And
Yeah.
that's what I think, people need to have a little bit of a strategy, especially like you said at the end, to just reflect and see what can they do better. Now, this is going to be a new norm. This new business that we have so many more untapped opportunity that we don't see as far as we sitting at home, and we're waiting to see when we're going to get together so we can do business, but we can do set up all ahead of that. And I know you got a tons of trick or tips that you can show us.
Yes. So one of the words that has been new in 2020 for my world has been pivot.
Yeah.
And I know many people are using that. It's not mine, but it's in my online world. And even in my brick and mortar businesses, you have to look at your business today, and you've got to step away from the emotion. As women, we are emotionally driven. By the way, nothing's wrong with that. But as a businesswoman, you've got to step back from the emotion associated with heartache, or not being where you'd like to be today, or not making the type of money you'd like to be, or not having as many clients. And you've got to start setting up some type of structure. And I have seen it over and over again in the last 6 to 8 months, women that are saying, I have to pivot and I have to do something different. It is opening up a lot of eyes. Now, with change comes opportunity. There are many, many stories in history when things are not going well, where people do very well. You want to focus on that, not on the stories that aren't. So ask yourself, if you own your own business, and we'll talk about if you have your own profession as well, but if you own your own business, what is it today that I can do that will make it easier for me in the future to be okay when situations like this happen? And for many people, Lee and Sarah, it's going online. For many people, it's building multiple streams of income. So you want to ask yourself, where else can I build streams of income? Most of us that are serial entrepreneurs like me do not have one income coming in from one source. We have multiple sources. And so where is it? Because most women have multiple areas of expertise. We have a talent to multitask. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
We're not typically driven for one thing. We're good at a lot. So why not start focusing on where are you the best, grow there, and then start continuing. So the first thing is step away, ask yourself where you can pivot, ask yourself where you can grow, ask yourself where you can have different streams of income. The second thing that I would suggest is, this is going to seem simplistic, but most people don't do it. Ask yourself what you want. When you don't know what you want, you can't get it. I get people that call me or email me and say, Galit, I want to be successful. Well, great. What does that mean? Yeah. Well, I want to be successful like you. Great. What does that mean? So I will ask them, give me 3 goals you want to accomplish before I'll even work with them. 3. I like the number 3. There's something about the number 3, it's in society.
It's a good prime number.
Right? Write down 3 goals. Now, they don't have to be specific yet. Just write down 3 goals. Now, sometimes it'll typically be, I want to make this much money, right? Because it's great to have that financial goal. What's wrong with money? It helps. I want to, sometimes it'll be with their fitness. Very normal. These are the 2021, right? The New Year's Eve type resolutions that people don't stick to. And then typically the third one's going to be related with their career. If they work for somebody, they might want to get a promotion, or they might want to change their career. If they have their own business, it's going to be probably related to, how can I grow my business and make it more successful? So those are a few tips that I would start out with right away. I want to give you guys a chance to ask any questions before I keep
Well, I
going.
would say, yeah. I mean, even just like if people are afraid that three is too many, start with one, right? I mean, it's just like pick one and start with that. And I think that is really critical to say that what exactly the most important thing that we want to target it on. Is that a personal? Is that a professional? And is that a business? I mean, it's like it's either way. And I think the most important thing is seek professional help. I think, you can scrambling around and find your way in 10 hours or 10 months. If you get somebody to help, take a course. I mean, if you can't start big, start something small. And I'm always big about investing on myself. And I think, what kind of direction you could point people to. I mean, it is very overwhelming right out there. Everybody has a course, everybody has something free to offer, everybody has a, how do you validate where is a good source so you can find a right person to follow?
Yes, so let's talk about that for a little bit. Lee, those were all great things. I think first and foremost, you need to recognize that the majority of people do not take a step closer to accomplishing their goals because of two things: fear and
Mm-hmm.
not knowing how.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's typical.
Yeah.
It's so typical. I'm not saying something that people don't know. Either I have a fear, which Lee mentioned, being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a key aspect because people get comfortable. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're happy where you're at, good for you. But most of the people that we work with, Lee, Sarah, and myself, they want to keep growing and they want to keep going to the next level. So you ask yourself, why am I not doing this? I had somebody the other day message me in one of my groups and they said, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do, but for whatever reason, I don't do it. Very normal.
Find somebody who will nudge you.
Yeah. So now it's the how. I say this. There are millions of people in this world that know how to do what you don't.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, very true.
So you have to know more than anything that there is somebody out there that knows how. Don't use how as an excuse. Now, this is the key. If you have a fear, there's someone that knows how to teach you how to get past the fear too.
Yeah.
So it actually works together. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's a mentor, if it's a coach, if it's a therapist, I don't care what it is, but stop using the excuse of being afraid and not knowing how. And now you ask me a question. Well, how do you know who to find, who to use? First and foremost, ask people you know. You wouldn't believe how many people that you know already know of somebody that rocks. It's something that you want to learn or what you want to do. Second of all, look in your peer network. We're all connected to people and we don't always know what they do. So look at what the peer network that you're connected to does. And then it's time to do an interview. You want to interview that person like you're hiring them for a job, because you are. And if they're doing their job right, they're interviewing you too, even though you're going to pay them, because there needs to be a fit. There needs to be a match. And by the way, it's not always there. There are many people that I've spoken to that have not been a fit, that have not been a match. But that's where I would start.
Right. And I think it's all fall back on what you said earlier, that you need to know what you want to do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you know what you want to do. You go find that ideal person that you want to be, or you want to have that model, and you follow that person. And then maybe you can't afford that person, then you go find someone of studying that person to I think there's just so many ways. But no matter what, I think, what would the first action that they need to take to get that needles to move forward, instead of just sitting in the puddle of fear and cripple and not doing anything?
So this is a key. You've got to be motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that you get motivated is you understand your why.
Yeah.
When you know why, it pushes you to get out of bed in the morning. It pushes you to get dressed. We had a lot of this at the beginning when everything was completely shut down.
Mhm.
People lost motivation, didn't get dressed, stayed in their pajamas all day, didn't care about the things that they would normally do. Then we also had the other people that were thriving and working out and going for walks and building new businesses. And so you have this and you have this. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to
Yeah.
be a person like Lee likes to use the thriving? Do you want to be a thriving person? At the end of the day, most of us will not thrive if we don't push ourselves. But there's also an opportunity to find people that will push you. And I always use the example of a personal trainer. Why do people hire personal trainers? Which I think is wonderful. Because you're paying somebody. And if you don't show up, you're still paying them. There's something to say about accountability, accountability partners, mastermind groups, groups on Facebook. I don't care what it is, but please find people that will push you, that will support you, that will like every crazy idea that you have.
Well, accountability is big. I mean, I know that always get afraid to get out of our comfort zone. Like back in March, I know I want to do something, and it has to be something different. And I'm starting to do my videos back in November, but by March, I know I need to go on every day. And who did I go to find? I go pull Sarah to say, let's go get on it. So it doesn't have to be something big. It can be messy. And I'm sure that people watch us in the beginning and maybe even now laughing at us that she didn't do it right or she do it, but at least we took the courage and we are here. We show up every day and we just, plow through and learn a little bit every day. And that's how we get to the opportunity to meet you and to meet so many other wonderful people. But I would say just do it, right? Like, wouldn't you say just do it?
There's so many wonderful people. And another experience that I have over and over again, Lee, is people that I'll start working with will say, well, friends or my friend doesn't think I'm doing this. And I say to them, look, people that love you sometimes want to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you to fail. I'm talking
Right.
about people that truly love you, not people
Yeah.
that want to see you fail. Because
Right.
there are people out there that want to see you fail, because
Mhm.
if you succeed, then they think less of themselves. Well, those are not the people you want to hang out with. I'm talking about people that love you. They want to protect you. And when they get that way, the thing that you have to say to them is, look, I really want to do this. I know I can do this. And if I fail, so what? It's part of my process. It's how I'm going to get where I want to get. And so when you finally recognize that failure is part of the process to success, because
Right.
how can you know if you're doing well? I always use the story of Walt Disney. I think it was something like 311 no's before he got to his yes. We would never have Walt Disney. We would never have Mickey
Right.
Mouse. We would never have Disneyland. We would never have Disney Studios. He could have said no,
I
but he
know.
didn't. Isn't that
And
right?
and
It's
Yeah,
and
really
life
that's
wouldn't be
so
simple.
this colorful, right? I mean, I am so lucky. All I have to do is ask Sarah, and she said yes the first time. But I am sure I have tons of project, and you do, and Sarah also do, that being turned down, rejected over and over and over and over again. But you just never know until you ask or until you're doing it. So, what would be a quickest way to get people to be visible? I know that you
Well,
got to
let's
be
kind
on
of
social
transition.
media.
Let's transition a little bit to that. Why do
Right.
people need to be more visible? And this is
Mm-hmm.
something that most people would prefer avoiding. It's because if people don't know who you are and people don't know what you sell, if it's your services or your products, then they can't buy them. And many people like me and like you ladies, we're heart-centered, we're service-centered.
Mm-hmm.
So I could hide between my four walls all day long and work. I have businesses that don't require me to be public, to be visible. But if you want to serve your purpose and your passion, now you've got to be visible.
Yeah.
And it's really important. And what's one of the first things that people say to me? I don't know how to make more money. I don't know how to get more clients. And it's quite interesting because during COVID, I started another business. I started another business called Everyday Woman that shows women how to be more visible and get more clients. Because what happened was in March, we shut down. In June, I'm looking around going, well, maybe May. I'm going, oh gosh, all these people are online and they have to make online work and they don't know how to.
Yeah.
So the way that you can be more visible is you've got to have an online presence. And some of the few things that I can give you that we teach in our membership is you've got to have a social media presence. You've got to have a website. If you can, have a blog. I don't care if it's video or written. And you've got to share value with your clients. You've got to share value with those people that follow you, because it's not always about selling. It's about giving value. Don't give away your information for free. That's not what I'm asking. Give value, just like I am on this interview. I'm going to give tips. I'm going to give tips. I'm going to give tips. But no matter how many tips I give, it's not going to be like working with me for 6 months. It's time. It's different. I can't give 6 months of tips in 30 minutes. But you want to make sure that you're showing up every day to be visible. So for me, it's social media, podcasts, speaking, summits, workshops, webinars. I mean, if you own your own business online, you should be doing all of this, and you should be posting every day, and you should be posting content so people recognize what expert you are. You want people talking about you. So when somebody says, hey, I'm looking for a business person, they think of you. I'm looking for a health coach, they think of you, whatever it might be.
Absolutely. I
That
think it's
make a
so
lot of sense.
critical, and it can be very overwhelming. Like every single aspect you say, it's all true, but people don't have to tackle all of that because you are so much experience. You got 25 years. So you are in everywhere. But for somebody who just starting out, wouldn't you say that just probably pick one platform to do it and do it well?
It's not so much about the platforms that you're on. I'm not even saying be on all of them. I think what you need to do is you need to understand where your key client is.
Right.
Okay.
Where is your key client? And I really like Facebook and LinkedIn. Okay. I'm on almost all of them. I'm not on Twitter, but I really like Facebook and LinkedIn. But if you're selling essential oils, LinkedIn probably won't be good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're, let's say all you do is executive training, Facebook might not be good for you. So you need to find what works for you and what's good for you. And it's not really about, first of all, yes, Lee, I absolutely always say be queen of one social media. I always say that, be queen of one, and then move on to the next. But it's also okay to have a presence. So if you have a presence on LinkedIn and you're not really spending your time there, and it's okay. On Facebook, that's fine. But you want to make sure whatever you're doing is making sense towards getting the clients and making sense towards attracting the business. That's really the key thing.
And it is very, very critical. I think that we have spawned a lot of people who are very comfortable with social media now and very comfortable in front of the camera. And lots of people actually making lots of money during COVID-19 because they have really come out of a new creative way to create business. And I think, we're probably going to have to think about bricks and mortar and virtual hybrid somewhere in the future. So yeah, I mean, possibility is probably endless, won't you say?
Yes. And I think that the main thing that I want everyone to take away from today is this. People think of a new year as a new beginning. But what typically happens is we start the new year, we get excited about our goals, the end of January comes, and then we go right back into our comfort zone or into our, what I like to call, robot mode.
Yeah.
And we do the same thing over and over again. Instead, the key is set your goals, figure out how to accomplish them and what you need. Because if you can't do it yourself, you need to get help, you need to get support, you need to be part of groups, whatever. And then the third thing is you've got to check in with yourself. Please check in with yourself every week. Every week. Every Sunday or Monday, what did I accomplish last week? How much closer am I to getting to my goals? And the last thing I want to share is this. We are a society of distractions. We are also a society that doesn't like to say no.
Right.
Learn how to avoid your distractions and learn how to say no. And the way that I teach my clients is this. If the yes doesn't directly relate to one of your goals, it's okay to say no. Lee, one of the things I've learned in Sarah is this. The more that you become successful, the more the opportunities show up. But it doesn't mean you have to say yes to every single one.
Right.
Learn. I say yes to a lot of things that aren't directly related to my goals when it comes to nonprofits, when it comes to charity, when it comes to helping others. That's different.
Right.
I'm talking about business goals. So when that email comes in and right now they want an answer, but it's not important, it's okay to wait to respond till later. I get no notifications on my phone but texting. And the only reason I get texting is because the only people that have my phone number are my family. Nobody else texts me. Clients don't text me, they only email me. I don't respond to private messages, my assistant does. So there's certain things that you need to set up so you can focus, because the number one thing that's holding you back from succeeding in 2021 is you. It's the truth. It's whoever's listening and whoever's making a choice not related to wanting to get to where they want to go.
Absolutely. Everything is right on the dot. Everything you said. So if there's one nugget that you would advise people out there, especially in the business world, to tidy up their 2020 and get ready for 2021, what would be the most one important thing that they should do right now?
Stop looking back and start looking forward. We have an ability to constantly look back on our failures when we didn't succeed, when we didn't do well. Stop.
Yeah.
We have the ability to consistently reinvent ourselves as people. You can wake up in the morning and decide to be somebody else. That's what's so exciting about being us. We live, especially in America, we live in a country that has so much opportunity for you.
Amen to that.
Yes, definitely.
And ladies, if anybody respects that comment, you do. My parents were immigrants. I'm first generation American. So my parents moved to America for the American dream.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to have that because my parents put in the work. So why wouldn't you, anybody listening, say, look, I'm so lucky. We live in a society where we don't understand how blessed we are. We don't understand how to be grateful. And I don't get it. It's really mind-boggling for me because I wake up in the morning and say, thank you that I'm alive today. And then I say, thank you that I can stand up. People don't have legs. And then I say, thank you for my hot water. And thank you that I have food on my table. I mean, there's so many things to be grateful for, even when things are going horrible. And that's kind of what I want everyone to walk away with.
Trust me,
today.
I said that every day I take a shower. Thank God for hot water because there's no hot water in Vietnam or in Cambodia. And we have to take shower every day, which,
People don't understand that because they haven't experienced it. And that's why it's so important for you women to keep sharing your story, because I think it gives people a little bit of a light bulb. My gosh, I really don't understand how good I have it.
But I think that everybody can give that inspiration. I mean, it's like I find inspiration everywhere I go, and I try to inspire people any chance I have. And I think same are you and Sarah. And I want to really say thank you for coming on here and share your wisdom with us. And I hope that all the people who are listening to the episode throughout since March until now, every day we try to inspire people. We're trying to bring somebody to come in to inspire you. There is so much opportunity out there, and it's so many things that we can actually advance ourselves. Doesn't matter how dire the situation is. It doesn't matter. It's always in here. You inspire from within. And I thank you for being here and help us inspire our audience.